Hey everyone, this is Jen from JKatsKreations, and today's video is going to be on the basic supplies and tools that you would use with wreath making. If you guys don't mind bearing with me for a couple minutes, I'm going to be holding my phone. I wanted to get a wide shot of the mat that I use, and I'll also be talking about the light you see in the frame for a few minutes, and then I'll put it back on the tripod when I go in close for everything else. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the cutting mat that I have. It is a 24 by 36. It is also called a self-healing mat. So if I go in a little bit closer, the 20-inch line is a very popular line for me to cut. As you can see, there's many cuts on there, but they're not actually deep grooves. So every time you cut, it kind of heals itself back up. So in a way, it takes a really long time for one of these mats to wear down. I've used the other side, I think it was probably at least a good year, if not a little bit more, before I finally flipped it over. And actually I can show you guys really quick. You can see how bad it finally did get before I flipped it over. But like I said, you know, I cut tons of deco mesh and everything, and it took me at least a good year to get it to look that bad. And then you flip it over and you have a whole other side to work with, so I assume I'll probably get about another year out of it. And the brand on this one, it's US Art Supply, and I believe it was Walmart that I had gotten this from, and this size runs around $30 pretty much wherever you get it from, whether it's like Walmart or Amazon or any of the hobby stores. I do believe it's well worth it for the size, but obviously if you want to get something a little bit smaller, I mean really anything is more helpful than, you know, like a tape measure or ruler, anything like that, and that you could use your rotary cutter on. Let's see, so the light I had gotten off of Amazon. I think it was a little more than a year ago. I just double checked before. It's still on there. It runs about $26. I just wanted to show, as of right now, I have no other lights on in this room. It's actually kind of a cloudy day here, but I just wanted to show that I think it's a pretty good amount of light that it gives off, like at nighttime. Usually that's the only thing I have on in the room. I have otherwise, you know, kind of poor lighting in here, so I really like this light. And if I come in close to show you, you do have different settings. So I mean, even if you didn't want to use it just for crafting, they have like a reading. I usually have it on the study one because I like the light that comes off of it. But I don't know if you guys could see the difference in the light that you see with each one that I push. And you could also, that brings it down a little bit, dims it, that's the maximum. Also, what I really like about it, you can fold it, it goes down that way, and then this top part, it's all LED lights that goes up. So there's a lot of adjustments you can make depending on what you're doing, which I think is really neat to have. And actually the best part about this light that I love so much is that it has a USB port built in. So I always have my phone charging off of it while I'm working, and I don't have to worry about, you know, charging my battery because it's right there. So like I said, I think it's about 26 bucks on Amazon. I just wanted to share that because I absolutely love it. Never mind the other light, that's the one that I use for filming. But at this point, I'm going to set my camera up in the tripod so I can get up and close on everything else. Okay, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the rotary cutter that I have. It's pretty common for wreath makers to have one of these. The brand is Fiskars, which is also a very common brand. This is, I believe, it's 45 millimeter size. And with this one, you would just click the button out. That's how the blade comes out. Always remember to push that button so it goes back in, because we all probably find out at one time or another how sharp these actually are. I also wanted to say that when I got my newest replacement blades, I did get a titanium one. It was actually a 2-pack. I will have to find that on Amazon. I'll drop the link into that for those. And I actually did find that it was incredibly sharp, but it does a great job cutting any of the mesh or burlap or, you know, anything that I've cut with the new blades. So I really like those, really love this. I've had this for I don't know, it's probably about 2 years now. No complaints, no problems. So I definitely recommend getting one of these. The next thing would actually be a wood burner tool. I do not own one personally. I'm one of those people that tends to have weird little accidents, and I'm totally convinced I'm going to do something to myself with one of those, so I don't have one. But I do want to let you know I will be putting in videos from Michelle from A Noble Touch and Julie from Julie's Wreath Boutique. They both have videos on YouTube that show them using it. So if you're interested, I'll put those in the description box. You guys can check that out, see it in action, and definitely see if it's something that you want to get to cut your mesh with. I will also be putting a picture of the kit that's most common for people to buy in order to do that. The next thing would be a pair of scissors. I believe I had also gotten these off of Amazon. They were like a 3-pack. I'd gotten them. There we go. Clear Cuts Titanium. It was 3 different sizes. I still have 2 sizes that I use. I would say, I don't think these were very much, maybe $12 or $13 for the 3-pack. And I would say pretty much as long as you don't use your scissors for trying to cut wire, they should last you a while no matter how much you pay for them. I do say that because I had broken the original pair that I had because I would cut them with wire, cut wire with them all the time. So I did learn my lesson, and I stole this from my husband's toolbox so I didn't have to break my scissors anymore. So it's just like one of those little snipper tools. I don't even know what you call it, clipper, snipper, something. I use this to cut my wire now, and my scissors have lasted a lot longer, so I would definitely recommend something along these lines. The next thing I have, obviously, pipe cleaners. I usually have pipe cleaners in a ton of different colors. I try to match to the mesh as much as possible, even though, once everything's on the wreath, you're not really going to see them, but I just try to match them anyway, so you don't ever have kind of a weird color poking through. Also, zip ties. These are actually little ones. I think they're 4-inch. I use these for everything. I love these. They're a great size. I believe these were from Amazon as well. I get a lot of stuff from Amazon, you guys, because I have Prime and I'm impatient, so I like to have stuff in 2 days. So I do get a lot of my stuff from Amazon, but I mean, most of the stuff you can get at any local hobby store or Walmart or, anything like that, even like Home Depot or Lowe's, a lot of this sort of stuff. These are more zip ties, bigger ones, 8-inch. I'll use these sometimes too. So I definitely like to have a few different sizes of zip ties on hand. The next thing, I use fishing line. I don't really think it matters, what this is 10 pound. I had just bought whatever, and I've used quite a bit of it, but I mean, this probably lasts me forever. And floral wire. This is, if I could get that to focus, 22 gauge. Now these you would use, for helping attach signs to your wreath, or, if you want to secure down any kind of picks or anything like that a little bit better. I've used this for that sort of stuff. And also going along with that, I use these little eye hooks. They're tiny little eye hooks. You can put these into the back of wooden signs. Just make sure that, this isn't wider than your wooden sign, or else it's going to go through. But if you just screw a few of these into the back of a wooden sign, you can, use the wire, the fishing line, or pipe cleaner to then attach it to the frame. And another thing, these little alligator clips, you could use this as well. And I like these because, you can slide whatever, the wire, fishing line, or pipe cleaner through here, and then once it clamps, these are really tight when they clamp. And I would just put some glue on the back of them, and attach it to whatever sign and this works as well. I will say that I learned a very hard lesson that hot glue does not stick to metal. I tried a lot. I can verify it does not work, so don't do it. I finally had to break down. I don't know why I resisted, but I finally broke down and I got the E6000. Everybody said how great it was and everything else, and I finally had gotten it, and they were right. It's awesome. I will say super stinky. That's got all kinds of warnings on the back of it, so definitely use this in a very well ventilated area. Also, it does take a while to dry, so keep that in mind. You know, if you've got something that, you know, like an order you need to get to somebody in a certain amount of time, you might want to do that first. You know, any gluing you need to do with this, because it does definitely need some time to dry. And then for everything else, obviously you just have a hot glue gun. This is a new one I got actually not too long ago. I gotta be honest, you guys, I don't really like it that much. I really like the fact that it had the, you know, it's got an on-off switch here, which I didn't have on my old one. But when this thing sits, it drips like crazy. I don't know if you guys have that problem with any other brands that you have, but I mean, I've only used this thing a handful of times, and it just drips like crazy when it's sitting there, and it makes me nuts. I'm not sure, you know, if that's normal or not, but if it is, then I guess, but you know, it's kind of annoying. I actually have a piece of cardboard that I set it down on, and you just see how big these globs are when it's just sitting there. And I don't know, guys, let me know, is that normal? I don't know. Do I need to buy another one? This wasn't very much, so if I have to get something else, it's okay. You know, mini glue sticks, just all purpose. Amazon as well, I believe. I go through quite a bit of those. And some people use it, some people don't. Spray adhesive, spray glue. This is one of the brands I've used. I have used it in the past for fraying on the edges of my wreaths, but to be honest, it kind of left everything a little tacky. You really need a while for this stuff to dry before it doesn't really feel tacky. Don't get too close to it if you're going to spray it, because then it's like never going to lose its tacky. I learned that too. Also, I learned, you guys, don't spray this inside. I was really lazy one day and decided to do it here in my craft room. And not only does it smell insanely bad, everything was stuck. My arm hair was stuck. I had it all over my phone. I had to clean the mat. My husband had come in to stand next to me to talk to me about something. He was stuck to the floor when he tried to leave. So don't be lazy like me. If you are going to use it, go outside and do it the right way. So I just wanted to let you know that. Another thing that a lot of people use that they find to be really helpful and convenient, especially if you're doing any of the flower style wreaths and you need to put something in the center to either attach, you know, the half a styrofoam ball, or, you know, like I do the braided centers, or, you know, I mean, just anything you want to attach in the center. Using the plastic grid or plastic canvas makes life so much easier. This one's pretty flexible. I don't have one handy right now. I would recommend a black marker to trace with, because I've had to use a pen. It doesn't work so good, and it's really hard to see. So I would recommend a black marker if you guys want to invest in that, but I would recommend it. It does make life a lot easier. And I think the only other thing I would say that would be helpful to have, that I wish I had made myself to begin with, I had showed this in my Deco Mesh poof video that I just did, but I had made this to cut my ribbon. This is 14 inches. There we go, I got it on there a little bit more. Just 2 pieces of cardboard that I taped together, and I wrap the ribbon around this so I can cut more faster. You know, I didn't know about this right away. I believe it was Trendy Tree, as I had said in my other video, that I learned to do this. It's obviously a very cheap, easy way to make something to help yourself cut ribbon a lot faster, and I wish I had known about that you know, I had gotten a couple months into wreath making before I realized that existed. So I thought that was a pretty good idea. So obviously, you know, any frames or anything, I'm not going to get into all that because it's totally up to you. But, you know, you have the wire frame, you have a, you know, straw, you have styrofoam, you have grapevine, you know, so all of that stuff, it's really up to you what you want to get when you first start making wreaths. But hopefully this is helpful. Like I said, I will put the wood burning links in the description, and I will link anything that I know for sure where I got it from, and I'll put that in there too, just to try to help you guys out so you know where to get some of this stuff if you want to. So at this point, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover, so I just want to say thank you again for watching. I hope you guys are liking my videos. If you do, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, you know, tell me what else you want to see, the usual stuff. If you want to see my new designs, you can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest under JKatsKreations. And once again, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.